What if the story of Jesus was more than a historical account or a religious narrative? What if, embedded in his teachings and life, there were clues about the nature of human consciousness itself? The concept of Christ consciousness emerges from this very question, a perspective that seeks a deeper understanding of Jesus' message, not just as salvation, but as awakening. Christ consciousness, in spiritual traditions, is often understood as the realization of one's unity with the divine, the awakening of higher awareness, and the embodiment of unconditional love and compassion that Jesus demonstrated. But what does this have to do with ancient energy systems like the pineal gland and Kundalini awakening? Let's begin at the intersection of science and spirituality, the pineal gland. Nestled in the center of the brain, this small, pine cone-shaped organ has long captured the fascination of mystics and philosophers. The French philosopher René Descartes called it the seat of the soul. Modern science knows the pineal gland for its production of melatonin, a hormone regulating sleep and circadian rhythms. But in mystical traditions, it's believed to do much more. Ancient cultures, from Egypt to India, regarded the pineal gland as a gateway to higher realms of consciousness. The symbolic third eye, seen in Eastern and esoteric art, is closely associated with this gland. Activating the pineal gland, according to these traditions, allows one to perceive realities beyond ordinary sense perception, intuition, vision, and spiritual insight. But how does Jesus fit into this picture? In the Gospels, there are cryptic references to the single eye. For instance, in Matthew 6:22, Jesus says,
"The eye is the lamp of the body. If your eye is single, your whole body will be full of light."
Scholars and mystics alike have speculated that this single eye is a metaphorical reference to the pineal gland. Early Christian mysticism often drew upon images of light within the body, describing the awakening of spiritual sight. The Desert Fathers, mystic Christian monks, spoke of experiencing divine radiance through deep prayer and meditation, practices reminiscent of Eastern techniques designed to awaken dormant energies within. And here's where the idea of Kundalini enters the conversation. In the yogic tradition of India, Kundalini is described as a latent spiritual energy coiled at the base of the spine. When awakened, it rises up through the chakras, energy centers in the body, culminating at the crown, said to produce a state of enlightenment. This spiritual ascent is often accompanied by profound experiences of love, unity, and expanded consciousness. Interestingly, the final chakra, the third eye, or ajna, is closely tied to the pineal gland. Some interpreters suggest that Jesus, through his life and teachings, was describing a path of awakening, not unlike the Kundalini process. Consider his 40 days of fasting and meditation in the wilderness. The Bible recounts how, after this transformative period, Jesus returned in the power of the Spirit. Was this a symbolic way to describe a personal awakening, an inner activation of divine energy? Even the imagery of baptism, a central sacrament in Christianity, can be seen through a new lens. Baptism isn't just about water, it's about cleansing, rebirth, and emerging as a new being, awakened to God's presence within. This echoes the transformative experience of Kundalini rising, described in yogic texts as a spiritual rebirth. Throughout his ministry, Jesus often retreated to quiet places for solitude and prayer, practices that calm the mind and, as some believe, activate the pineal gland. Modern scientific studies show that meditation can stimulate this gland, changing brain chemistry and enhancing perceptions of unity and transcendence, core aspects of Christ consciousness. Profound spiritual truths may be universal, transcending tradition. When Jesus spoke of the kingdom of heaven within you, he invited an inner awakening to activate the pineal gland and realize dormant divine energy. In a world divided by dogma, Christ consciousness points to universal spirituality. Practices like meditation and prayer become keys to higher awareness. Ultimately, the pursuit of Christ consciousness is an invitation to look within, awaken the light Jesus spoke of, embody love and unity, and experience these truths directly, vividly, within ourselves.